Hello friends, I welcome you to EPG Pathshala. My name is Dr. Amit Katoj and I am working as Assistant Professor in University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management of Punjab University, Chandigarh. Dear students, I would be taking the module on travel documentation. Under the paper, travel agency and tour operations, itinerary preparation and tour package. After the module, the learners will be able to understand the concept of travel documentations, define passport, visa and its types, understand the concept of currency regulations, custom formalities and health regulations and travel insurances, and also importance of travel documents in travel and tourism. Firstly, start with a brief introduction. A travel document is an identity document issued by a government or international treaty organization to facilitate the movement of individuals or small groups of persons across international boundaries following international agreements. The need of travel documents arise as they usually assure other governments that the bearer may return to the issuing country and are often issued in booklet form to allow other governments to place visas as well as entry and exit stamps into them. The most common travel documents is a passport, which usually gives the bearer more privileges like visa free access to certain countries. However, the term is sometimes used only for those documents which do not bear proof of nationality, such as a refugee travel document is sometimes used only for those documents which do not bear proof of nationality, such as refugee travel documents. Now I would discuss about the travel documents. The travel documents which are required while traveling for international and domestic travel are few but important. A person cannot travel without possessing them, especially in the case of international travel. Passengers are required to ensure that they are in possession of all documents necessary for travel apart from their tickets. For domestic travel within India, valid photo identification, namely valid passport, PAN card issued by the Income Tax Department, election photo identification card, valid driving license, photo identity card issued by the employer, being government and reputed private sector organizations, photo credit card. Children should carry their school identification cards or any other photo identification proof, valid birth certificates of infants. For travel under concessionary fare types, valid relevant IDs. In case the customers do not possess any of the above documents which I told you, they should carry a relevant attested document that contains a recent photograph of the travelling customers. For foreign nationals, the only valid photo ID for travel is passport. Now I would discuss about the passport. A passport is a document issued by a national government which certifies the identity and nationality of its holder for the purpose of international travel. There are different elements of identity in passport. They are name, date of birth, sex and place of birth. It is an official document issued by a competent public authority or official, usually the sovereign head of the country. Throughout world, there are different issuing authorities in different countries. In India, the President of India is the issuing authority. Passport is a privilege issued to citizens of a country or aliens residing in that country for a period of time. It is every citizen's birthright. The rights to consular protection arise from international agreements and the right to return arises from the laws of the issuing country. Indian passports also subject to an immigration clearance from the Office of the Protector of Immigrants. This is applicable for some of the countries. Europe, US, Canada and other countries are exempted, but it is required for all countries in the Middle East and some Asian and African countries. For tourist purposes, a waiver is required for each trip. Now I would discuss about visa visitors intended stay abroad. A visa is a document showing that a person is authorized to enter the territory for which it was issued subject to permission of an immigration official at the time of the actual entry. As per Tim, a visa is an entry in a passport or other travel document made by a consular official of a government to indicate that the bearer has been granted authority to enter or re-enter the country concerned. Now I will discuss about the types of travel documents. There are different types of travel documents and the important ones are passport and visa. Firstly, I would discuss about the passports. Passports are of different types. Tourist passport, regular passport. It is the most common form of passport issued to citizens and other nationals. Occasionally, children are registered with the parent's passport, making it equivalent to a family passport. Official passport or the service passport. It is issued to government employees for work related travel and their accompanying dependents. Diplomatic passport. It is issued to diplomats of a country and their accompanying dependents for official international travel and residence. Accredited diplomats of certain grades may be granted diplomatic immunity by a host country, but this is not automatically conferred by holding a diplomatic passport. Any diplomatic privileges apply in the country to which the diplomat is accredited. Elsewhere, diplomatic passport holders must adhere to the same regulations and travel procedures as are required of other nationals of their country. Emergency passport, also called temporary passport. Emergency passport is issued to persons whose passports were lost or stolen without time to obtain a replacement. Laissez-passer are also used for this purpose. Some other types of passport include British emergency passport. It is a collective passport which is issued to defined groups for travel together to particular destinations such as group of school children on a school trip. Family passport. It is issued to an entire family. There is one passport holder who may travel alone or with other family members included in the passport. A family member who is not the passport holder cannot use the passport for travel without the passport holder. Few countries now issue family passports. For example, all the EU countries and Canada require each child to have his or her own passport. Non-citizens passport. Non-citizens in Latvia and Estonia are individuals primarily of Russian or Ukrainian ethnicity who are not citizens of Latvia or Estonia but whose families have resided in the area since the Soviet era and thus have the right to a non-citizen passport issued by the Latvian government as well as other specific rights. Approximately two-thirds of them are ethnic Russians, followed by ethnic Belarusians, ethnic Ukrainians, ethnic Poles and ethnic Lithuanians. Non-citizens in the two countries are issued special non-citizen passports as opposed to regular passports issued by the Estonian and Latvian authorities to citizens. This practice has been described as xenophobic. In America, non-citizen US nationals may reside and work in the United States without restrictions and may apply for citizenship under the same rules as resident aliens. Like resident aliens, they are not presently allowed by any US state to vote in federal or state elections, although as with resident aliens there is no constitutional prohibition against their doing so. Other type of travel documents may include laissez-passer. It is issued by national governments or international organizations such as UN as emergency passports, travel on humanitarian grounds or for official travel. Interpol travel document issued by the Interpol to police officers for official travel, allowing them to bypass certain visa restrictions in certain member states when investigating transnational crime. Certificate of identity, also called alien's passport or informally a travel document, issued under certain circumstances such as statelessness to non-citizens residents. An example is the Nansen passport, sometimes issued as an internal passport to non-residents. Refugee travel document, issued to a refugee by the state in which he or she currently resides, allowing them to travel outside that state and to return. It is made necessary because refugees are unlikely to be able to obtain passports from their state of nationality. Permits. Many types of travel permit exist around the world. Some like the US re-entry permit and Japan re-entry permit allow residents of other countries who are unable to obtain a permit to travel outside the country and return. Others like the Bangladesh special passport, the two-way permit and the Taiwan compatriate entry permit are used for travel to and from specific countries or locations, for example to travel between mainland China and Macau or between Taiwan and China. Chinese travel document issued by the People's Republic of China to Chinese citizens in lieu of a passport. Hajj passport, a special passport used only for Hajj and Umrah pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina. Now I will discuss about the visa types. There are 185 different types of visa. There are several visas that a foreign national may apply for to be lawfully admitted into a country either temporarily or permanently. A few of the commonly utilized visa categories are: firstly, I would discuss about the temporary visa. The following visa come under temporary visa, such as tourist visitor visas available to all visitors coming to any country for business or pleasure. Treaty and investor visas, investors and traders and their employees may receive visas to carry on their businesses. Student visas, persons seeking to pursue a full course of study at a school are eligible for a visa for the course of their study plus in some cases a period for practical training in the field of study. H-1B specialty occupation professional visas. Professional workers with at least a bachelor's degree or its equivalent work experience may be eligible for a non-immigrant visa if the employers can demonstrate that they are to be paid at least the prevailing wage for the position. J1 and Q1 exchange visitor visas. Persons coming to the country for approved exchange program may be eligible for the J1 exchange visitors visa. J1 programs often cover students, short-term scholars, business trainees, teachers, professors and research scholars, specialists, international visitors, government visitors, camp counselors and au pairs. K1 finance visas. K1 fiancé visas. A fiancé of a US citizen is eligible for a non-immigrant visa conditioned on the conclusion of the marriage within 90 days. Now secondly, now I would discuss about permanent residency visas, that is green cards. Firstly, family sponsored immigration visas. Individual in this can petition for spouses, parents, children and siblings. Permanent residents may petition for spouses and children. Employer sponsored immigrant visas, which is given via employer for employment. EB1 foreign nationals of extraordinary ability, outstanding professors and researchers and multinational executives and managers. Individuals in this category can petition for permanent residency without having to go through the time consuming labor certification process. EB2 workers with advanced degrees or exceptional ability in the sciences, arts or business visa holders in this category normally must have a job offer and the potential employer must complete the labor certification process. The labor certification involves the testing of the job market to demonstrate that the potential visa holder is not taking a job away from a US worker. In cases where an individual can show that his entry is in the national interest, the job offer and labor certification requirements can be waived. EB3 skilled workers and professionals. Visa holders in this category normally must have a job offer and the potential employer must complete the labor certification process. EB4 special immigrant visas for religious workers. Ministers of religion are eligible for permanent residency. Other types may include project visa, grantees visa, journalist visa, business visa, missionary visa, mountaineering visa, medical and medical attendant visa, universal visa or diplomatic official UN official visa, transit visa, entry visa, tourist visa, employment visa or in some cases maybe research visa. Now I will discuss about health regulations. The health regulations form an integral part of travel documentation process. No travel documentation process can be complete without following health regulations. Any person, foreigner or Indian, excluding infants below 6 months, arriving by air or sea without a vaccination certificate of yellow fever shall be kept in quarantine isolation for a period up to 6 days. Some countries require visitors to take some precautionary vaccinations prior to a visit. These are normally for yellow fever and cholera affected zones. Packs must have these vaccinations endorsed in a booklet format for which is prescribed by the WHO. Persons exempted from production of vaccination certificate. The following types of persons are exempted from production yellow fever vaccination certificate, such as infants below the age of 6 months are exempted. Any person suffering from some chronic illness and poor resistance is thereby exempted from being vaccinated. Crew and passengers of an aircraft transiting through an airport located in yellow fever infected area, provided the health officer is satisfied that such persons remain within the airport premises during the period of stay. Yellow fever. Validity of vaccination. Primary vaccination certificate valid for 10 years beginning 10 days after the primary vaccination. Revaccination within validity Certificate will be valid for another 10 years beginning on the date of revaccination. However, the old certificate must be shown during the first 10 days after revaccination. Cholera. Validity of vaccination. Primary vaccination certificate valid for 6 months beginning 6 days after primary vaccination. Revaccination within validity certificate will be valid for another 6 months beginning on the date of revaccination. However, the old certificate must be shown during the first 6 days after the revaccination. Now I will discuss about the currency regulations. Currency regulations are imposed to check the inflow and outflow of currency from one country to another. There is a limit of currency which an individual as tourist can carry from origin to destination. Currency regulations are currency regulations for each country. This includes details of currency imports and export from one place to another. Import of currency includes how much of currency can a passenger bring into the country. Export of currency include how much foreign currency or exchange can a passenger carry out of the country. Foreign currencies include currency notes, traveller checks, drafts, etc. Re-exchange only through banks and authorized money exchange points. Unlimited amount of foreign currencies can be imported. However, amounts exceeding 5,000 US dollars in cash or 10,000 US dollar or equivalent in travelers checks must be declared. Only up to the amount is imported and is declared. In case of local currency taking the case of India, Indian rupee INR 7,500 for residents of India except when arriving or departing to from Bhutan and Nepal. For residents arriving from Bhutan and Nepal, there is no limit in the amount of INR, only INR 100 may be carried, not of higher denomination. Now I will discuss about the customs regulations. Customs regulations include all the custom related formalities which form an important part of travel documentation. Customs regulations includes information on customs regulations for all countries. This information is about what a passenger can bring into and take out of a country without having to pay duty. It is also known as duty free allowance of a passenger. Free import by non-residents, however, is only permitted if they enter India for a stay of not less than 24 hours and not more than 6 months, provided they visit India not more than once a month. The jewellery up to a combined value of INR 50,000 for male travellers or INR 1 lakh for female travellers is permitted to be carried. The travel souvenirs are imported by nationals and residents of India or if being of Indian origin, provided being 10 years of age or older. Goods in excess of the maximum permitted amount shall be subject to an import duty of 60%. Now I would discuss about the travel insurance. Travel insurance is the insurance that is intended to cover medical expenses, trip cancellations, lost luggage, flight accidents and other expenses incurred while traveling either internationally or one's own country. Travel insurance is always advisable to carry insurance while traveling abroad. It is also mandatory for many countries. It covers several risks associated with travel. It should be pre-purchased and must remain valid for the duration of trip. It is useful in covering several risks such as loss of advance, deposit, travel delays, medical and related expenses, interruption, curtailment, returning to resume, travel personal, accident luggage, personal effects and money loss, personal liability. Now I would like to summarize the entire module. The concept of travel documentation has grown over the past few decades and now relative inclusions have been made in its records. Travel documents are necessary to make travel safe and sound. It is helping in smooth international travels and within a region or area. Travel documents are the need of the hour and the very basic and initial steps to be a tool for successful travels. Based on this, the number of international arrivals and departures is booming high every year. Travel documents make travel process valid, authentic and regulates many illegal activities. Documentation is required in order to have control on all the unethical practices in travel and trade business. Visa passport have long proved to be the best identification cards in unresolved cases throughout the world, and as far as health checks and travel insurance are concerned, these provide extra travel coverage to the tourist. It is for the safety and pleasant travel of the tourist. In tourism and hospitality industry, where there is vast diversity of travelers from different parts of the world, travel documentation is one thing which unites all the people from different ethnic groups, communities, lifestyles and cultures. The travel journey cannot be completed without the travel documents, which in turn help in uniting the world by one process, one world. Thank you and have a great future ahead.